Hey YouTube, Skipper T here. Another subject I'd like to talk about is footwear. Now, we all kind of take this for granted, I think. I don't know about you guys, but I work in a corporate environment. So wearing big boots like this is not always going to be an option. I do, however, on almost a daily basis, wear these Merrells. They tend to go with khaki colored pants pretty good. They're not quite as dressy as they should be, but nonetheless I don't get any grief when I wear them, and as a result I have a pair of boots on. Now you can see that these are a little bit, shall we say, smaller as far as the height up over one's ankle goes. This is an 8-inch pair of boots, and these are 9 inches. Starting off with the Merrells here, we'll set these off to the side. Again, this is just a set of Merrell hiking boots. They lace up. They've got the quick release here at the top. They're padded around the tops, which is nice. But this is a very lightweight, very comfortable boot that, like I said, most days I wear this to work. And the reason I do that is because you never know where you're going to be when things go south, and to have decent footwear is going to be a necessity. Next time you're at work, look around at the people that you work with and look down at their feet and look at their shoes. Ask them, do you even have a pair of tennis shoes in your car, if necessary? And I'm thinking primarily of the ladies that I work with. Would they be able to walk home from where we work, in a worst case scenario, in the shoes that they're wearing? A lot of them wear heels, a lot of them wear the wedgies, a lot of different shoe designs that are out there. Some of which, and the two that I've just mentioned, are not the most stable shoes out there. Would you be able to, and this is a question I ask everyone, would you be able to walk home from here? If you live 2-3 miles away, if you live even further. Now I live about 20 miles from where I work, so being able to hike home is a necessity. For me, I would cut across country. It would make my trip probably 15 miles, but I would be walking along creek beds and cutting through fields and various other things since we live out in the country. So for me, a shoe such as this, with a decent grippy sole on it, and hopefully you guys will be able to see that, I'd be able to make it from where I work to home with just a pair of these, probably, I'd say 3 seasons of the year, simply because they're a lightweight, designed to breathe boot. Now in the dead of winter, I would want to have something a little bit more stable on, a little bit drier. These do not have the Gore-Tex lining in them. Again, it's just a lightweight, comfortable, kind of maybe early spring, later spring through the early or latter part of the fall. These would be absolutely fantastic. They do give a little bit of ankle support, but they're only just a small, maybe a 5-inch, 6-inch type boot here. So you don't get that full, over the ankle support, which to me is important. And I know there's a debate out there, the lower the ankle, the more your foot has to work and your legs have to work, the stronger your ankles become. Well, I'm not a young man anymore, so I'm going to take all the support I can get. And ultimately, if I were to roll an ankle with this, I could hurt myself. I could still sprain an ankle. I could turn basically a hike in a nasty scenario home into a survival situation if I were to roll an ankle and suddenly I'm not able to hike that 15 miles back home. So, although they're good, it's a great summer boot, something when you've got a lot of sunlight and you can see where you're going. This is a great boot. It'll get you there. It'll definitely do the trick. And like I said, I've been wearing these every day for about 2 years, going back and forth to work. I like them. Very comfortable, strong. It's got a leather upper with some synthetic materials to breathe. It's got a flexible sole on it. But I've never had any issues with the support. They're not coming apart anywhere. Maybe a touch of fray around here, but a little lighter, burn that off, make it look just brand new. Anyway, excellent set of boots, but again, this is a summertime type scenario, and they're lightweight. And I live in the flatlands, so not quite as big an issue. If you guys have mountainous terrain anywhere away, or anywhere near you rather, something like this may be a great option for you, but you might want to opt out for something with a little bit better ankle support. Speaking of which, I've had this pair of Irish Setter 801 Havocs with the 9-inch upper for, going on 3 years now. I used to wear them to work a lot till I transferred to the Merrells. Merrells rather. These are a fantastic boot. They're heavy, but they're lightweight at the same time. They are a non-insulated Gore-Tex lined boot, so my feet are going to stay dry in them. In fact, I've done hunting in them even in January. Sat in tree stands, hiked through the woods to get to them, and I've never had any issues with my feet getting cold. But then I got them a little bit big, so I've got a little extra room in them, and I can put a thicker, heavier sock on. And I usually wear two, a thin lining to wick away the moisture, and then like a thicker sock. I'm allergic to wool, so I can't really wear a wool sock, so I'll wear a heavier, thicker synthetic type sock. And so far, I've had no complaints. I take care of these. I put mink oil on them all the time. Keeps the leather soft, supple, hydrated, and it waterproofs them as well. So now I know there's going to be some debates on what's the best thing to put on the outside of your boot, but I've been using that for, God, 20, 30, maybe 40 years now, and I've not had any issues. So I'm going to continue to go with what I know. Now again, these are very nice. This is a full leather upper on it. I mentioned that they're Gore-Tex lined. They're 9-inch, so they go well above the ankle. Great support. You know, obviously you can make them looser or tighter depending on how you draw up the laces on them and such. But this has been an absolutely fantastic pair of boots. My only concern with these, and my only gripe with them really, is the sole that's on them. This is not what I would call an aggressive sole. Now, it sticks very well to wet concrete. When I've been on rocks, and there's not a great deal of them in our flatland farm environments, but I've never had any issues with slippage on it. However, because of that sole design and the fact that it's relatively smooth, and you can see that it's starting to get a little worn there, is that it will slip in wet grass. In mud, they have virtually no traction, very little. So you've got to be a little bit more careful along those lines. The soles have held up really well. I figured they would have worn out long before now, but they are showing some signs of wear. But then again, you know, I wear them all the time, especially in the winter time when I'm outside and stuff. Nice padded upper here, good pull-up strap for your ankles to get them onto your feet. All in all, I got to tell you what, guys, these have been an absolutely fantastic pair of boots. I just wish they would do something different with the sole on them. If they did, I would be inclined to buy no other boot. Now, I will say these were fairly expensive as compared to the Merrells here. I picked these Merrells up. They were probably $90, $88 if I remember correctly. These were about $188. But again, you know, spend the money, get a decent set of boots. If defecation hits the rotary oscillator, you're going to need something that's strong, that's solid, that will go the distance, because, you know, footwear is going to be hard to find at that point. And having 2 or 3 pairs like this that you can, you know, either wear one pair out completely or rotate them and make them all last longer, how you do that is entirely up to you. But this is good money well spent right here. Can't beat a decent set of boots, okay? Now again, I like these because they're 9 inches tall. They give my ankles and legs great support. And when I've got them strapped on, I don't have to worry about twisting an ankle on a log or a rock or something like that as I'm tripping through the woods. Support-wise, I find that they're a very comfortable boot. I have discovered wearing a backpack, though, that the interior or the footbed on here could use a little bit better support. Okay, after a while, my feet will fatigue on this, and then I need to step down or, you know, take a break or something like that. But for everyday use and wear, just working around the house here and on the couple acres that we've got, you know, I never had any issues with it, other than just being a little bit slippery on a wet surface like grass, snow, virtually no traction on snow. But nonetheless, a great solid boot. Now recently, as in probably within the last month, I picked up a pair of boots that were designed for hiking, for carrying a pack. And these are the Salomon 4D 2 GTX hiking boot. Now this has got a synthetic leather type upper here with other synthetic materials on it. It is Gore-Tex lined so that they are waterproof. Again, it's a non-insulated boot, but yet at the same time the material that's on the inside and the padding does give you a little bit of insulative properties. It's an 8-inch tall boot versus a 9. Um, I really like the lacing system on it here in the corners. Once you get the bottom part of this tightened up to where you want it, and you hook it through this corner piece right here, it won't let go. So I can tighten this down or loosen this, then run it through here, then I can adjust these top two tie-offs whether I want them loose or tight, and it does not affect the bottom portion, which I found to be kind of the neat addition to or way, if you will, of lacing on and strapping up a boot and then getting the tension throughout the laces. I hadn't really thought about that until I was reading some of the advertisements on it, and since I have gotten these, I have found that I actually really like that a lot. Again, it's got, all of these have a toe cover on them, so you're not knocking up against rocks and sticks and logs and things like that. These have a far superior grippy sole on them. I'm hoping you guys can see that. It is very aggressive, okay? Now, is it going to collect mud and stuff? I don't think it's going to be too bad because the lugs on here are fairly wide. I'm going to assume that it will clean it out. I have not yet worn these in muddy conditions. In fact, I haven't worn them in the snow yet either because I've only had them for about a month. But one of the things that I really liked about them is the way that the soles and the insole on these are created. And what they're designed to do is not only to take the weight of your body, but to take the weight of your pack as well and help distribute that load better throughout the entire footbed. So it's, it's a technological advancement, if you will, in footwear. So far I've been very, very pleased with them. I mean, as thick and heavy and as big a boot, and it's got lots of padding up here, especially in the tongue and such. Very nice, very comfortable boot. And I think I'm really going to enjoy these, and I'm going to wear them this winter and test them out. I'll probably hunt in them a couple of times, get them good and wet and dirty. I have sprayed some silicone spray on them just to waterproof all the little edges and give it a little bit better water shedding capability in the synthetic materials here. But because it's Gore-Tex lined, again, my feet should not get wet from simple immersion. So we'll see what happens on that, but I really think that these are going to work good. Again, guys, I want to let you see that tread pattern on there. Appears to be very aggressive, very nice. But again, with that wide lug on here, they should be pretty much a self-cleaning boot as you're walking along. But I'm hoping that that'll be the case. We won't know for sure. Maybe I'll follow up in the spring after we get that taken care of and give it a test out, see how well the soles last and such. But overall, having had these a month now and worn them several times, I am very, very pleased with them. The break-in period was maybe the second time I had them on. I mean, absolutely easy to walk in. Like I said, they weren't the old Colorado hikers from the 80s that were stiff, big old boots, Herman Munster type things. But yeah, these are very comfortable, and surprisingly enough, boy, I tell you what, you'd be hard pressed. This is actually a lighter boot than this one. Of course, this is the 9-inch upper and this is an 8-inch upper, but you'll notice the soles are a little bit different. Yeah, and it's actually slightly lighter with the Salomon than it is with the Irish Setter. So either way, it's going to be, a long day is going to be fatiguing no matter how you set that up. One other thing I would mention, and I'll pull this off as we're talking about it, but guys, always keep yourself a camp shoe handy. Something that at the end of the day, you no longer want to put these on, or you're up in your tent or you're in your shelter at night, whatever the case may be. You got to get up and take a leak, ladies, gentlemen, whatever the case may be. You need to be able to slip something on. I'm not a fan of I was not a fan of the Crocs for many, many years until I bought some of these the beginning of this summer. And I have virtually worn them every day. And other than the sole starting to wear out a little bit on the bottom and flatten out, no complaints whatsoever. They stay on the foot good. They are very comfortable. I wear them when we're in the lake here locally and swimming with our friends and such, and I've had no issues with these. But because they weigh absolutely nothing, you could strap this onto the outside of your pack or stuff them in one of the expansion pockets. Now you've got an alternative footwear once you get to a campsite. Or, again, if you're hiking home like I am, I don't know, I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, I get off work at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. At that point in time, if it's later in the day, and I'm on the track home because I can't get in my car and drive home for whatever reason, am I going to make it home that first night in 20, 25 degree temperatures? I don't know. It's going to be tough. It's going to be dark by 5 o'clock. Headlamps, flashlights are all going to work great, but can I make it home? I'm unsure. I'm going to give it my best shot, but if not, I'm going to take everything I need to spend the night out there too. I'm probably going to take a pair of these with me, stuff them in my pack, just super lightweight. Again, just an alternative thing for the end of the day. But overall, guys, put some serious consideration into your footwear. Just like anything else, your backpacks are great, the knives you buy are great, the camping equipment, your stoves, your water bottles, everything associated with it is all designed to last and for longevity, but it won't do you a darn bit of good. Excuse me. If you can't get there from here. And this, the Shoe Leather Express, may be the only way you're going to get home. So give it a good thought, see what you can do about it, and if you're gonna spend serious money on something, start at your feet and work your way up from there. Everything else you can make up as you go. But if you've got an issue with a foot or an ankle or something like that on your way home, the situation just got dramatically worse. So anyway, guys, a little bit of food for thought for you. Appreciate your watching. Remember, keep your eyes open, keep your heads up. We'll see you outside.